Here we are, and today it is part 5 of our playthrough of Atlantic Chase. And if you're just joining us, I can tell you in the previous segments we had plenty of action where the British and the French sank the pocket battleship, the Graf Spee. After that, the Scharnhorst and the Gneisenau, German battle cruisers, caught this convoy here and really hammered it. And earned a lot of victory points for the Germans on that time. But the British quickly retaliated and managed to catch the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst and damage the Gneisenau. And now it's moving along slowly. And here we are. It is now the German initiative in good weather. And I guess the first decision is, do I want to split up? The Germans want to split up their force so that the fast Scharnhorst can get away, leaving the Gneisenau to limp along as it goes. I'm kind of the mind that we need to live and they need to live and die together. So for now, I think we're just going to keep them. Wow, really slow is really slow. Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep them together and let them set a trajectory for home like so. Like so. You'll see I've only made it 12 lengths so that I avoid adding an extra intel marker to my trajectory. And here we go. Now, so a lot of people, when I was playing this, when I first started out playing this game, whenever I had something like this where I'm trying to escape, I'd like set this up and then I would just pass. But now there's another option, and that's why I put that trajectory in air, because I'm going to search for this convoy. Even though it's not going to be very effective, and I know that, and I'm not actually going for that convoy, but it keeps the initiative unless the British can roll against them, making them roll for it as opposed to just passing and just giving it to them, which I think the Germans are done if they do that. And this gets into something else. Obviously, developing is all meta. Occasionally get a comment like, "Oh, this is just a dice roller." No. I disagree entirely. I could play it safe. That is a safe move to pass and just eliminate some. This doing a search is a risky move because I have an intel marker on here. And it could cost me, I could lose the turn entirely and not even get a time lapse. But if it pans out, I can force him to roll, maybe get a few more time lapses in. Yeah, so that's the most important thing. And this is where you're in control. I'm in control of the game. I decide. So if I do this risky move and it rolls bad, I'm not going to say, "Oh, it's the dice's fault." No, it's my fault. I decided I had a safe mood. I decided not to do it. And this, I like a random done well is my preference as opposed to deterministic. I'm not going to dish on Euros because I do occasionally like those, but I like the random elements here because it's counterintuitive, but I think you have more control. You have more choice of play styles as opposed to like, well, I'll play it safe this time. No, I'm going to roll it all on this one dice. And that's mine. Okay. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this Navy search. And because of the intel marker, we're going to do this interruption. Straight, no modified roll. 6, which is a -1 to my search. That is a perfectly acceptable result because we're not really worried about the result. Now, I could have coordinated with the air support with the British so they could reduce the search a little more, but that's okay. We'll just go with what we got. And our Navy search all the way on that 16 column. With an 8. Well, maybe they should have air supported. I don't think it would have made a difference. Yeah, it wouldn't have. I don't think. It might have. Okay. But it's a early late. So we go ahead and pop out. We pop a hole here, and we're going to remove all these. And the whole point of that exercise was be able to do a time lapse. I do have to do the intel limit. Oh, that's a bad one because it's so slow. So we do get to take out the 1, but that is it. And all these markers are making trouble for us. So we're kind of loose, a little looser now. And And the British are going to go for the initiative. This is their straight roll. And no, they're short. So that gamble paid off. Now I get to do more stuff as opposed to just pass and have that one little dinky trajectory come off. Now I can come up with something here. Now here's where I don't want to take the risk, I don't think, because I don't see any benefit to it. I could say do a naval search here, but it's because it's the tail end of that. If I miss, I end up giving him an evasive maneuvers marker, which he can then use to roll better on his next initiative roll. But then again, you'd still have to roll on that, wouldn't he? As opposed to me just handing it to him. So, I'm going to keep doing it. Why just hand him the initiative? So be it. I'm going to search here. Now, this has an aircraft carrier in it, so he's going to definitely use that for air support to give me a -2 to me. I'll be rolling on the 14 column this time with no interruption. Thank you. All right, -2. 7, that's going to be a 5, which is going to be the early-late result, but unfortunately, that does nothing to him because it does not poke a hole. But the good news is I do get to time lapse. And the British will get an evasive maneuvers marker for that, which they are going to burn up in order to try to seize the initiative, which they already have a +1. This will make it +2. And so, looking for a 9. They roll. And they roll snake eyes. So I am still in the game. Or the Germans are still in the game, I guess it is, since I'm playing both sides here. And finally, so there's really no benefit. I can't really extend anywhere. I'm just going to make trouble for myself with intel. Well, let me think. Yeah, I was thinking about going in here, but that would add an intel marker and all the other dumpy things. And the only thing I could do is remove it, so I would just be sitting here spinning my wheels. I'm really in no position to do anything reasonably other than pass. Now, there's one thing I should say. There is this reinforcement I could bring in. I don't think I will. There we go. Here. There's the boat. Keg boat. Boat for the empties. But I'd have to get rid of them in order to end the game. And I think they would just, it wouldn't be worth it. So we're going to leave them as is. And okay, finally, we are going to pass, just pass. And we're going to time lapse like that. And notice that by doing those two things, those two searches, I was able to squeeze not 1, not 2, but 3 time lapses out of that rather than passing at the first go. Very important strategy. I think that's one that'll work very well for you. Find something other to do than pass until there's literally nothing else to do. So now we have a initiative roll coming up for the British, which is once again at +2 by natural. And they roll. Oh, wait a minute. They don't roll. What? Excuse me. My brain farted. We passed. I was sitting here jabba, 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 and I didn't realize I just plain passed. Okay, so it's the British turn. What I meant to say, I think, was I need to roll for the weather. Yeah, that's it. That's it. A nice recovery. They roll a 3. The weather will remain good. Now, I'm the British. I'm the British. And what will I do now? I say rather... As the British, I do believe I got them a little bit by the hip, because what I can do, first of all, we're going to trajectory this convoy back to home port in England, like so. Yep, and how I've got him is essentially he has to come in here, one way or another, and that's going to give him an intel marker, which means he's going to struggle to get that done. We got a lot of time. I can even complete these, and England is going to end up with more victory points than the Germans. Well, I think we're going to actually end up with a kind of a pass fest going on here to see who can race and keep their victory points intact. And so, dunk, like so, and they're passing. The Germans, We'll probably also do the same thing. And it's really just a race to the end, however. And this could be important, is the weather roll. Nope. Weather remains good. Germans pass. Weather for the British. Weather is good. British pass. Chunk. Now they're in a completion range. Germans check for weather. Stays good. I'm gonna pass. British weather stays good. And now they're in completion range, so they're gonna go for it. The Germans will attempt to seize the initiative. And they do not. This completes. That, because it's a dispersed convoy, that is gonna be 10, that's gonna be 0 points. They won 2 points for completing it. The Germans were ahead by 2. Now it's a zero-sum scoring, so now they're at 0. It's a tie ball game. And since the British retain the initiative, they will go ahead and pass and get that one ready to come in. And let's see, nope, they're not quite ready. The Germans check the weather. Oh, the weather goes bad. Interesting. Now I might have to rethink. Bad weather grounds all the airplanes. And I'm going in there. And let's see if we can engage these guys and maybe sink some. British do get interruption. Oh, and a 12 on the interruption table is a vie for initiative. Well, 2 on that. I get nothing from that. Oh. Alright, well, it's a vie for an interruption, or vie for initiative. And the Germans maintain it, and they get to complete their action, which is an engage on the 4 column. A big roll here. An 8 on the 4 column. Skirmish time. Alright, let's do it. Well, I wonder if this is the smart thing to do, because I just now realized that the Germans get 0 points for sinking these. But they have every incentive to damage and sink him, so guess which way they're coming. They're British. This is Master and Commander. Straight at him, sir. Let me start with the snafu check. In bad weather this time. A 10 on the bad weather is poor visibility. Whoa. Gunnery stage. The Gneisenau firing at a -1 due to the poor visibility at extreme range. That is a 3 and a 4, which is a 7, which is no good in closing. The Gneisenau, the Scharnhorst is going to have a little bit better odds, -1. That's going to be a +1 to his die roll. And that is a 2 and a 5 and a 7, which makes an 8, which unfortunately is also a splash. Now on to the Norfolk and the Suffolk. We'll be firing -1s. Alright, Norfolk firing first. A 2 and a 3, nothing. And Suffolk, oh, by the way, the British are going to fire at the Scharnhorst, because if they can damage her, that's victory points. So, there you go. 2 and 4, nothing. Bunch of nothing, okay. They maneuver in closer. I'm going to keep them at the distance. I don't want to get in their torpedo range. No lingering effects, no breakaway. Does anybody want to break away? No, nobody can, because we're both coming right at each other. And that is the end of that round. We will have a last round right here. No need to break away or anything. In fact, our attitude, everybody might as well go whoop, whoop. And like so, to improve their odds. In this last round. Okay, the good, nice and all, firing at long range with a -1. Firing on, let's call it the Norfolk. Nothing. The Scharnhorst will have a better odds of +1. Or is it? Yeah, +1. 9, 10. Ooh. 10 on a acquiring is a severe result. So we hit the Norfolk in the superstructure. And in the superstructure, 11, we set him on fire. So, boom. Now it's the Norfolk's turn. Turn fire at a -1. Nothing. And the Suffolk. Uh-oh, 9. -1 is an 8. In acquiring is a hit. Boom. Splat. Alright, well, tough nuggets there, huh? There's no point doing any maneuvering because it's the last round. But now the British Norfolk must think about putting out that fire. He will use damage control. And, well, it's going to be 3 dice. Best 2. The best 2 are the 6 and the 4 for a 10, which I think puts out the fire. Yes, it does. We put out the fire, so no big deal. Okay. That is basically, that's the end of the battle. And here's what it looks like. There's a vie for initiative with a +1 to the British. Well, but the Germans maintain the initiative. Well, goody for them. That might get them out. Well, we're going. It looks like we're going for the tie here. In all seriousness, I think that's about the best they can do. I think we go like this, and really, I was thinking about re-engaging him or something like that. But like I said, there's no points for it. So we're just intel limiting there. So, unfortunately, passing to the British, but the British. Let's see where they're at. First, we take a look at the weather. Stays bad. Well, if the British pass over here to get this completed, they might be able to, and it's going to end up a tie. So the British should try to win this. And the way to do that, I think, is take a run at these guys and try to catch them. So here. There's no air support because of the bad weather. So this is going to be a straight Navy search on the 4 column. So lowest column. With a decent roll here, we might have something. Oh, we should do. We should be able to bring them to a contact. With a 4, however, that's just going to make contact. Wow. Like so. They get to time lapse and turn into a station, like so. Germans will try to seize the initiative, which they do actually. And what happens to the weather? Weather goes to good. The Germans can try to complete, which they will. And the British must seize the initiative. They do not. This completes. And this ends the game. It ended up being a tie ball game. Now, I'm kind of wondering, maybe I should have brought out the German reinforcements and gone kind of cruising for more convoys. The problem with that was, it would have just, I think it would have just been more tit for tat, where I go out and I hit them for some points, but they catch me and then they hit me and damage me, and it ends up all being a wash. But 0-0, great action. A lot of hunting down, a lot of retaliation, a lot of finding them. Anyway, that is Operation First. What do you call it? First Test. And let me see in the historical situation. Historical outcome. The two German battlecruisers sortied, but under orders not to bring on any general engagement. They only sparred with the Royal Navy. They sunk a lone armed merchant ship, but never managed to break out into the Atlantic. Hey, we did a lot better. Meanwhile, the Graf Spee, in need of an engine overhaul and wary of capture, never managed to get through the blockade. She refueled at sea and steamed south again. Weeks later, after the conclusion of the scenario, British cruisers would bring her to battle on the River Plate in South America, where she was scuttled. Well, there you have it. Okay, so leave your comments below. If you think you saw a better strategy, or if you saw me make any mistakes, let me know. And that's it for Atlantic Chase for now. And thank you for watching.